Morning guys, this is only going to be a bit of a quick video blog in all fairness. As you're probably aware, if you aren't, you need to watch the previous videos where we bought an M3, it's actually for me. We've done the M Performance pack on there, which it didn't have. We've got the competition wheels. It's just been tidied up in general, carbon rear diffuser, the things that it should have had that it didn't have, and it's all kind of bolt on original OEM sort of M Performance stuff. So it's something everyone can do, but it seriously transforms the car, and it needed it. The other thing it needed is basically the paintwork itself needed sorting out because it was horrendous. It's black, or it was grey I should say, because it wasn't black. It was full of swirls and scratches, it had buffer trails, marks literally everywhere. It looked dog rough, it was dog rough. The bodywork has not been looked after whatsoever on this car. Interior wise, it's pretty damn good. Engine wise, it's alright. Had an oil leak on the rocker gasket cover, which is a common fault, and that's going into CLP on Monday, which is why we're getting this done now. So at the minute, what I'm basically doing is correcting the, well, no, I'm lying. I'm only doing an enhancement on this one, I'm not doing correct it. I usually correct my own cars. I'm not going to do it on this one. There's a few scratches in it which are through the paint. It's got stone chips on the front, stone chips on the bumper. The bumper's been repainted with the stone chips still in, so there's actually dimples in it. Now you've got to really look for things like that to be able to see them, but the truth is they are there, and I'm not going to lie. So when you see this car and we're at the events we do, you're going to see that there is some defects on here. So what I'm basically doing on this one at the minute is I'm doing an enhancement. We're getting the swirls out, the minor scratches, some of the deeper marks we can. There's a little bit of touch up going to be done on some areas, and then we're going to be putting Ceramic Pro on it because I want to toughen the paint up to make it so it doesn't mark again, and Ceramic Pro is the best you can buy. We're then going to do the top coat, the glass, the wheels and everything else. But the reality is it's not mint, this car, and I'm not going to make it absolutely flawless because every car I've ever owned and made absolutely flawless, I've never used. Then I've sold it and someone else has benefited from all that, so I've spent 5 days, 6 days on it, 600 quid in cost of products plus the labour, and I've never really benefited. So the truth is, it's not going to be corrected and flawless, but it's going to look damn impressive, and I'd like you to find faults on it because it's still going to be to the highest level we can really get. The roof has got a couple of marks on it, but you know what, overall the carbon roof has come out absolutely mint. All this panel here were absolutely knackered. I've wet sanded that, so I've done quite a bit of work on it, and now it's time to get the ceramic coating on, ready for when we hit Europe in about 3 or 4 weeks time. So this looks the dogs when we take photographs around the Swiss Alps and Germany and France and everywhere else that this is going on the supercar tour. It's not going to be at the quality of cars that are obviously on that event. I'm not taking the Porsche because it's sold, but we aim to make this car look good and to be able to keep up with those cars as well, and that's something you need to watch on the blog because we're going to have a lot of video footage from that week away. So keep an eye on the rest of the vlogs, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll get some videos and a montage of this once I've done in the next couple of days. See there, it's dull, it's grey, it's not black anymore, the metallic isn't showing because it's so grey and so scratched. When you actually do see this in the sun like we saw yesterday, literally full of holograms, the plastics are absolutely shot, one of the worst I've seen. Even this back one is really bad and they're a bugger to do. Mirrors really tatty. The whole car literally has lost all its colour. It doesn't look black at all. We faked it just to get it on the road because I put some in-depth on, which is our body filler. So it's basically a liquid wax that we sell that fills marks and swirls. That managed to bring the black back and make it less swirly for now, but still wasn't great. So as you can see, I've pretty much got the roof looking absolutely mint. A couple of marks I've spotted, I'm going to get back on them. We've done the boot today, so the boot has got a real gloss shine and a finish to it again. And it's just another 2 or 3 days now to get the rest of this car looking right, and we're going to get some proper photos and videos of it. It's nothing special, you know, for people to look at. It's an M3. probably looks the same as majority of M3s on the road, but I love these cars. They're really practical, there's loads of room in them, there's serious power if you want them, and this is going to CLP and it's going to have some work done on it. We're probably going to go to pure turbos and get the 600-700 brake pack on there at some point. But for now it's just a really nice car for summer for me to enjoy when we've done as detailing and we shut the shop, and I've got something for me to enjoy when I'm working on cars such as that, which will be on another video, and you need to follow us to see what it is, see the video and see what sort of weapon that is as well. That's on another video. See you in a bit. Scuffs that are never going to come out, and the truth is it's insane. It looks amazing. Morning guys, so we're back. We've had a week off. We sent our car away to CLP Automotive to get some bits done. We actually had a problem with the, I think it was the oil gasket, or the head, not the head gasket, but something to do with an oil gasket anyway, and it was leaking oil, and it's quite common on the M3s, and it's a job that I just couldn't do. I weren't even prepared to do that sort of work. I'm not that mechanical. So we sent this off to CLP and we've had a bit more done on it now. We've got a little bit giddy with it. So the engine issue has been fixed. It's had a full service. It's had a set of cooler spark plugs fitted in there. We've had the crank hub. You're probably going to say I've said that wrong, but we've had a crank hub fitted on this as well, just to prevent some sort of engine failure, because they are quite common until we start going into more sort of in-depth work with this. But we've also had a new Chargecooler fitted, because the Chargecooler hadn't been looked after properly and it actually damaged the reservoir, and the Chargecooler seemed to have a crack in it, which was great. So we spoke with Matt at MTC and he's provided us with this massive Chargecooler here, which CLP have fitted on our behalf while they were doing the rest of the work on there. It's now sitting on the Eibach springs because the height on the front was absolutely crap. It looked great on the back, I've no issue with it. The front was too high, now it sits absolutely perfect. So CLP have done all that for us as well. And something I ain't done for about 20 years, and I've not been that bothered, if I'm honest. I don't open my engine bay, so I don't really clean it. But we've had the MMR oil cap, which is literally aesthetic, that's all it is. But Dan said to me, I've got one in, do you want it putting on? It looks really cool. So I thought, you know what, we spent all this money on the car, we've done all the upgrades to the car, completely transformed it, why not do that as well? The problem I've got now, the engine bay is dirty, I'm going to have to clean it, my OCD's kicking in, I'm going to have to clean all this, and I don't really want to, because I don't show my engine bay off, but it needs done. So I'm going to get this in now, we're going to get the engine bay cleaned out. So what we're doing is basically going to PPF some parts of this car. Now, as I've said to you before, I don't like PPF, I don't particularly agree with it. I do think it changes colour of the panels. I think it's obvious you can put it on. You do have to ceramic it afterwards because it doesn't repel the same as a car that's got a real coating on it. And I've seen it when it's pulled off, it's actually pulled paint off and caused damage. So to me, it's not always that beneficial. I've also seen it where people have had a bit of damage to PPF and they've taken it off and the bumper's actually been damaged as well, so you've had to paint it, then recoat it, and you kind of, to me, PPF sometimes can be a complete waste of time and a lot of money. However, this is hitting Europe in 4 weeks' time. A lot of you may know that. If you don't, you need to follow us because there's going to be a lot of footage, a lot of drones and a lot of supercars going, so this is going to be a big event. But what we are going to do is I'm going to PPF half of the bonnet to try and cover some of the stone chips that might happen, and a little bit of the front fairing on here. We're going to cover some of the corners of the wings. I'm going to PPF the mirrors, and then the bit that's probably more important is I'm going to PPF the back of the boot here, literally on the bottom of the bumper itself. because I know my missus is going to be taking a bag in and out of the car probably 10 or 15 times a day, scratch the crap out the bottom of that bumper because they always do, and then say it's not her fault or she didn't do it. So that is the biggest part to me. That's actually more important than doing all the rest of this. But watch us now. This is me attempting to do PPF all over again, even though I said I'd never do it, and I don't like doing wrapping, but here we go. So that's the bonnet part laid down now. Now this is the same as I've done in the past when I've done PPF. So you guys who are pros, who've done it for a living, and obviously have done it a lot more, are probably going to say I'm doing it wrong. But I'm going to leave this for a few days now because there's not air bubbles, but there's kind of like water stains underneath, and they do disappear on their own after a day or two. The actual PPF now is swirled to hell, looks horrendous compared to the rest of the car, and the way you get that out is by putting the heat gun on it, and that actually takes out the sort of swirls and the issues on the actual PPF and actually makes it sort of look the same as the car. But I'm not going to do that for a few days. I'm going to let it naturally air, then I'm going to put the heat gun on it, because what I don't want to do is get this heat and the water that's on here too hot and it actually crisp and burn the PPF, because I've seen it in the past where you get like a little burn mark where the water's actually boiled underneath. So I'm going to let it naturally air, then we're going to heat the PPF up and get those swirls out of the PPF. So I was going to say, the guys who do it for a living and you pros out there, you're probably going to say I'm doing it wrong. This is not something I do normally. I'm not even a fan of PPF, but I'm just doing it on this car just for the Euro trip, and I just want to give it that bit of protection. So hopefully I've done it to a level that is acceptable and you're not going to see any marks in it, and that'll do me fine. So we've got the PPF on now. Honestly, I'm not that impressed with it. It's got a few bubbles in it. It's got a very smoky or hazy sort of cloudiness to it. But I've spoken with the company, I've looked into what it is, and they do state that it is 3 to 5 days for that to fully adhere, and then that will actually get rid of the haziness and the cloudiness from the film, and it automatically does it. It's just part of the process. So now I've got to sit there with a car full of absolute swirls. I mean, look at the difference. Mint, full of swirls. So I've got to literally leave that now for 3 to 5 days to naturally air, fully adhere. Then I'm going to get the heat gun on it, get the swirls out of that, and then we're going to ceramic those parts of the PPF as well, so they actually repel the same as the rest of the car, because I can't deal with it if it won't. Got the boot part on, not perfect. Say a few marks, a few little air bubbles in there, but again they're going to come out with it. The mirrors were tricky, probably the hardest bit to do, but they've gone on really well. And I've done the side of the wings and they were an absolute doddle. They went on in seconds, they were dead easy. It's just this now, letting the glue adhere and obviously getting it right, and hopefully we'll get the swirls out of it so I can actually deal with it, because at the minute I can't even look at the front of that. But let's have a look, give it 3-5 days, we'll get another video up. Okay, so literally an hour and a half passed since I actually put the PPF on, and you know what, I'm just sitting there stressing out. I can't deal with the fact that there's swirls on this. So I'm gonna take a risk on it, and if this don't work, I've just lost 150 quid and a couple of hours on the PPF. But I'm gonna try and get these swirls out of here, because half of this bonnet looks absolutely horrendous. As you can probably see on there, it really doesn't look good at all. You can see it's full of marks, where the rest of the bonnet obviously is much darker. So I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna try and buff it with a microfiber pad. I'm gonna put the heat gun on it, and then I'm gonna put a ceramic coat over the top, just so it actually darkens it up and obviously makes it look the same as the rest of the car. I just can't deal with it being in the car park looking like that. So we're gonna get on with that now, and then we'll see what the pictures and videos look like.